Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much for your support. It's Thursday, July 17th, 8:16 p.m. John should be joining shortly. He's probably running a little late, but we wanted to start the program in time so we can discuss today, obviously, the painful loss Orlando received against NYCFC. A loss that should have not occurred, but we'll discuss all of that and more as well. We're going to be discussing MLS results around the league, also some of the latest results for Orlando. Orlando's not winning, no winning games. And then we're going to be previewing the game against New England Revolution with predictions and all of that. So stay tuned, drop us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And John's here with me. He just joined. John, what's up, my friend?
What's up, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, you cannot hear me. Are you there, John? All right. I guess John's coming back. So let's just start. Let's read your comments real quick here. It says, can't wait for this one. All right. No, for sure. We're about 20 people live. Thank you for your support. John, if you're ready, just ping me and let me know. Are you there, buddy?
Sorry,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, so
Technical difficulties. I apologize.
it's okay. Not a problem, man. So I already kind of gave some of the topics that we're going to be discussing today. How are you, my friend, after this pretty terrible loss? How you feel, man?
I think I'm very frustrated by the fact mainly that Saturday was so disappointing and then we expected a reaction. And I think that Wednesday, for the game being what it was, I thought I was really impressed with the attendance. And I feel like the crowd really came out and everybody was hungry for that win. And I just think that there's a lot of the same issues week to week, but there's also the same issues year to year. And this was a very disappointing result off the back of another disappointing result. And I think that the home fans just, have kind of not, I want to say had enough, but I think this was a real breaking point. And I think I'm feeling very frustrated myself. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
All right. Well, I totally understand how you guys just feel. I will give you guys what I feel. Again, I'm not trying to prove a point here, but I'm just trying to just kind of tell you my opinion. My opinion about it is that yes, it's a shitty result. Should have never occurred. I think the criticism of Oscar holding out the game is great. I think y'all are right. I think a lot of the people that are talking about that are completely spot on. But I'm not ready to throw away the season. So I'm on that boat. So I'm not ready to say this is not a playoff team. I'm not ready to say this team is going to sink into smithereens and we're never going to see him back. And my call is not to fire everybody, especially being July 17th, being the middle of the season. I guess I'm rational, but I understand passion. But I guess it's just me. I just feel, yes, this 3 or 4 results are terrible. Uh, we are still, even with those bad results, 6 in the East. They grabbed the bulk of goals, Orlando City. But again, I'm for what I'm reading is who needs to pack their bags, who needs to stay. It's simple, Pareja out. And it seems to me that yes, it is. I mean, those opinions are 110% spot on. And I'm not here to question that. What I'm saying is see it in a rational way. Obviously, channel your anger the best way you can if you're watching. And you're entitled to being upset. But do you truly believe that that's what a well run club will do?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think that that's what a well run club is going to do? Just get rid of everybody in the middle of the
No, no.
season?
I mean, and I
Well,
want to say
I mean,
that like
I mean, because that's what I'm reading. I mean, I mean,
yeah,
that's
but
you know,
that's not how I
and
feel
so
about the situation.
and so what I'm saying
I'm talking
it's
about more about where we've. I'm talking about the results, and that's how I feel. I'm not saying that like I'm giving up on the
no, no,
season. I
no.
don't think any of
I'm not
that.
saying you. I'm just saying that's what I'm reading across the
Some
board,
people have, yeah. Some people have
right
looked at
across
this and
the
said the
board,
season's done,
right?
and and like they might be right, but obviously we don't know yet. We don't know yet. I mean, they're just assuming that, of course. But I'm more concerned about the performances we're seeing.
A hundred
Like the
percent.
results are not there. Yes, but I also think that the performances coupled with the poor results at the moment and with these two back-to-back home results and where we are in the table and the necessity to get points now, I think we're it's concerning and I think we're in a bad
So
situation at the moment.
no, I completely agree. But I also, we got to be also consistent on the fact that we are failing, and this has been a situation like you mentioned since last year, failure of closing out the games, and I believe Orlando controlled much of the match, as you already mentioned. 25 shots, 7 on target, 9 corners, and 1 goal. And again, despite creating numerous chances, they failed again to convert, especially against a really lackluster NYCFC. And I'm not trying to bully NYCFC. I'm just saying this is not the NYCFC, John, you kind of watched out for. You know what I mean? This was a very depleted NYCFC. That's why the loss hurts even more, right, John?
Yeah, I mean that's it's the last three results against
Yeah.
teams that like we looked at this run. And I think for me, a lot of the disappointment comes from if you think about a month or so ago, we were, Oscar was talking about, hey, let's try and push to get to the top of the table, or like we're definitely going to solidify ourselves in fourth. And now we're slipping and slipping. So for me it's like, okay, so how far have we fallen off? And I think a lot of it is there was hope this year of like, hey, we can really be maybe a contender, or maybe we can actually finish the year strong and not just creep our way into the playoffs, or to have a really good end to the year. Like maybe we can be a consistent team. And I just think that as we started out hot, it's just slowly kind of, especially the summer, we're kind of going through this disappointing run where we're not getting the results and we're not really performing very well. So for me, the trend at the moment is just going the wrong way. And so, yes, we could turn it around 100%. I'm not saying that's not the case. I just think that we need to see something change, because this to me is a lot like last year, where we just had this period where we were really bad at the beginning of the year, and we're kind of looking a lot like we did at the beginning of last year at the moment. So that's my concern, is how long does it take Oscar and the boys to start getting results again?
So last year, Orlando ended fourth in the East with 52 points. Now, you know, again, I see the frustration, and again, the lack of finishing out the game. We lost this game. I'm not talking about just this game, but I'm talking about the other one as well, the one before that, because of defensive lapses generated by ourselves, technically. you know, it's just blunders that should not occur, and it happened. Um, and again, I mean, it sounds a little cliche, and again, I'm not trying to sound, um, I'm not trying to sound like, I would like to light the world on fire, like everybody, and toss the match out and let it burn. But my brain, my soccer vision, my football vision, it's not allowing me to do so, because there's always an opportunity of winning the next game. And just like people online been saying, hey, Angulo sucks, Angulo's dipped. First half of this last game, they were praising Angulo. Angulo should have never come out of the starting lineup. So is is that as well? It's just I'm not ready to jump in the fire and just say, hey, now if you're watching this and you feel like Orlando City, I'm sure we just come from a really nice club World Cup. We're on the level of Europe. We're very far away, and you can't compare yourself to Europe. And that's the way I see it. When you see people saying, bringing up every loss about absentee owners, about firing the front office, about overpriced beer, Dippin' Dots, and shit like that. You know, are we going to go through that every loss? Because there's going to be losses, John, right? I mean, obviously, no one wants to lose, but losses are going to happen. Or am I mistaken here?
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, and I think there's going to be those reactions regardless. Like you're going to have emotional reactions to the situation. But I think right now there's just a lot of disappointment in at the end of the day, it's entertainment. I think that's the important thing. And people are paying money to come see something. So if they're feeling like the product that they're seeing week in, week out isn't valuable enough for them to keep coming, that's a problem. And I think we're losing interest all the time when we go for these bad periods, and especially with home results. Like we've just had, if you come to a Saturday game or a Wednesday game, both of those you kind of left being like, if you're a casual fan, it might be a while before you come back to another game. And kind of like I said before, the Wednesday, I was really impressed with the amount of people there. It had been raining, it had been delayed. There was a very good attendance. People were up for it. The wall was loud. And I just felt like, we got the goal, and then it 70th minute, and I'm feeling like this is a exact repeat of Saturday. And here comes New York, except from they can score, and then they did score, and then they scored again, and it's just it was too much of the same thing and the same mistakes back to back. And I think, Luis, that for a lot of people just leaves them feeling, right now that this club and this team is not what they said they're going to be at the beginning of the year. I feel, for me, was very hopeful that this was the year that we really pushed on. I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying we're out of anything, but we're out of the Open Cup. That is for sure. We're definitely, probably not going to be Supporter Shield winners. I would be shocked if we managed to pull that off. So, it's MLS Cup or bust, or Leagues Cup that. And at this point, I think people are hopeful that we can, still maybe do something. But the more of this goes on right now, where we're looking like a team that really doesn't deserve to win anything at our current, form and the way that we play, we don't look like a contender to win anything. And I think that's the issue is, you know, I wanted to see an improvement from last year, and it's a lot of the same things. But personally, I believe the squad is better. And so that's where I start to look at Oscar and say, we're repeating the same mistakes. I think you need to really show us that you can do something else. Like at the beginning of the year, it was very attacking, Luis. You know what I'm talking about? Like we started out a lot more
Well,
aggressive, and
well,
now I
they,
see us side to side pass all the time, and we're afraid to take a man on. It just seems too, passive. It's too passive.
well, they are more attacking minded if you compare it I mean, right now the way this,
They are,
I
but we're
mean,
not
the
finishing
the
chances, so it doesn't matter.
Orlando City backline play forward this whole entire NYCFC game. That's one of the reasons why. I mean, Brecolo was in the midfield half the time, and then coming back to his position. So they played two forward. Now, I understand the frustration, and again, I said this, and people, maybe forget about this, but last season Orlando started with a tie against Montreal, the loss against Miami 5-0, and then Minnesota United, and then they lost against Atlanta. So that's three losses in the early season with one tie, and then they went into an 11-game MLS regular season streak. But then also within that mid-season, Orlando also went through a three-game losing streak on a four-match stretch. So yes, this is not new. It's just done in a it's just done in a different part of the calendar now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's my point is like I
Right.
was hoping that if you look at the top teams in the East, like your Cincy's, your Nashville's this year, your Phillies, for example, they might lose a game every once in a while, but they bounce back immediately and they're fairly consistent in winning fairly regularly and being able to get draws very regular. My problem is that it's not the same as last year because that was a different recipe, but we've seen this recipe before with Oscar, right? We've seen starts good, summer is really bad, and then maybe we'll figure it out for the playoffs and, be a team. So was hoping that this year we would see something different from that. But I think, again, it's like I said, we go for these periods of looking like a team that can't score and makes silly defensive errors. And so for me, it's about how long is that going to go on and how quickly can we get out of that funk. And there's been a lot of opportunities here, Charlotte, Montreal, New York City. We're wasting teams that we should be getting 3 points against. And then we're going to have to play better teams. And if we play like this,
Yeah.
so for me, I think we got to see a change. We got to see something be different. We have to be more
you
clinical.
you're completely right on your assessment. The Lions defense faltered completely late, and then you bringing in, Kyle Smith on goal, which, I mean, again, he's Kyle Smith, guys. He's been one of the cornerstones. He's a great guy, but judging if Kyle should be in the team or not just because of one game, like
The 200 games is absolute servant for this club, so that's
Rick,
no,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I wouldn't, you know what I mean? That's
That's
just,
just people who don't like
yeah,
Kyle.
that's just being a troll. You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to be like, super cookie, oh my god, good manners, anything like that. Like, I troll too a little bit here and there, but I mean, come on, man. That stuff happens. It was sad to see. I literally blame Rodrigo a little bit better. He should have known better. And I think this whole attitude, there's players, and again, I'm gonna concentrate today, and also, like you said, Pareja was a bad game for Oscar Pareja, 110%. But Cesar Araujo as well dipped. He's been dipping tremendously. Like that foul he did. Like, I understand, like, he was, it was either going to be a counter that we're going to score, or but he didn't have really the best game possible. And Rodri Schlegel, I mean, back-to-back games, just completely botching it. 6 goals they've conceded this past few games. Last three home matches being L's, 6 goals. And again, and I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, we're gonna dive into the Oscar situation. Um, when it comes to, again, this whole Pappy special thing. I was concerned also. I was more concerned of the substitutions because when he made the substitution for Nico Rodriguez, with all due respect with Nico, I understand he's a young cat, but he's so green. He's just so green. It was just a wasted substitution, in my opinion, with all due respect. And again, it just seemed like the subs came in a little demoralized, especially after that Kyle Smith on goal. It's over. I mean, there wasn't that energy. And he literally took, and again, people want to point, but he was one of the people carrying the team forward, which was Angulo. And he opted to use, Pareja opted to use 4 out of the 5 available substitutions. And it's a recurring tactic, I believe, that pans out sometimes, and sometimes you gotta do it, especially when you play away, but not when you play at home. I just feel like that was a mistake, and and yes, he acknowledged it, but again, that doesn't give back the W to Orlando, right? Orlando still lost, so you just don't hold out a 1-0 result. I just that to me spoke more volumes than anything else. It's like, why would you want to hold out a 1-0 result? You know? And it was just, to me, it was just the bad way of looking about this game. I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. I think it was almost like I said, because of what happened in the last game, it felt like almost exactly the same situation was coming. We couldn't get that second goal, and then New York was growing into the game. They had that one chance. Martinez hit the post. I don't know how he hit the post. Like, he should have scored that. That should have been 1-1. So it's not like there wasn't it wasn't coming in some ways. And I think it was a bold move to take off Angulo and Pasalic. I think it just kind of killed all of our attack. Like I think the one bit of grace I'll give Oscar is we don't really have a lot of attacking sub options at the moment. So he brought on Enrique, which was really his only strong attacking sub option. But that's the only bit of grace I give him, because it went into a back five. And then as soon as we did that, they just seemed to get much more of the ball and go into the game. I don't think it was necessarily a bad game plan, but we just didn't seem to have any attack then. And also the back three were more aggressive. So it's like we went into a back five, but we're higher up the field and we were more aggressive. And we're trying to get like the second goal, but we also weren't, because we were just keeping the ball. To me, it just didn't make any sense what was going on. And I think to take Paslic and Angulo at the same time off, and then your front three at that point was Dagerdan, Ojeda was in the striker, and like Enrique's playing kind of like a wet left wing role. I just didn't see it. And I think for me, a lot of it is about not being able to get that second goal. And whether it's the guys who are on the field are the same guys, or whether he made the subs or not, there's the same issues as last game, where we just can't seem to score a goal in open play. I mean, we got this goal from the set piece,
Yep.
and like, we have all these opportunities in open play. Like you said, the XG is up there, and like the amount of shots that we have, the amount of chances we create, but we're not scoring goals in open play. So
Bro,
it just said to me, like, okay, we're not going to score again. And then the rest is history in a lot of ways. But it got to the 70th minute, Luis, and I felt like this is coming. Like, I tweeted about it, and I don't like to do that, because it's like, oh, you're kind of jinxing it. People say, like, and I feel like sometimes it is, but in this case, I wanted to put it out there, like, hey, this is gonna happen, because we can all see it's gonna happen again. And then it did.
yeah, he didn't use all his substitutions, and also it's just the
I think it's just a
substitutions.
collapse anyway,
I
subs or
think
no
I think the
subs.
substitutions he put in did not pay off. And to add to what you say, our defense played offense in this game. Like Jansen, when he scored that goal, I keep seeing Jansen almost in the in the midfield. David Brecalo was like giving assists. Like he was, like David Brecalo had a tremendous game. I feel bad for him that that we dropped the L on here. I feel bad for New York did a good thing of trying to mark Pasalic. Pasalic didn't have that connection. Alex Freeman was lively. I think he's playing for the U.S. men's national team has done so well, to him as a player. But again, it's just why are we trying to close a 1-0 result at home? You know, and again, it goes back to some of the players need to step up too. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, 26 shots, Luis, 7 on target. And then when we did shoot, it was often at Matt Freeze.
yeah, and which he had a phenomenal game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of good keepers in this league. There's a lot of good center backs in this league. It doesn't. I think that's the issue. Is like New York City FC are not that good, and we did not. We were not able to get the win at home against an average team that might struggle to get in the playoffs themselves. I think that says a lot. Last game as well. Montreal couldn't get the win against. Couldn't score a goal in open play against the worst team in the East. I think
Well,
these are real signs of where we're at in our performance levels at the moment. Yes, the stats are great, but the one that really matters, the two that really matter, goals and shots on target and keeping goals out, and the results are just really not there at the moment. And I think that's very frustrating.
Joran Gerbey, you surely miss, my friend. Wherever you
Yeah,
are, I know you're watching.
read the comments.
You're surely missed. I'm gonna read the comments right now, John. Thank you for your support to everybody that's watching. Vega, I feel bad for Jansen. I agree. That was a great volley, though. Josh Stahl, we really gotta get back to scoring 2 to 3 goals a game and defending better. Rodrigo should have never made that kind of mistake again. Landing, where's Joran Gerbey? I completely agree with you. Araujo was in the box plenty. Says we're going to beat these in the playoffs like last season. Hopefully, return to finals at least. Again, I'm not ready to throw the season away. It's a little early. I feel to hit the panic button. Yes, we're pissed. Yes, 3 shitty home games, and I'm saying it like that. Pardon my French, but I'm not ready to say. I'm an Inter fan now. I'm a Winter Garden FC from the USL League One, right? On a more positive note, says Boris Buckhorn, John, Forever Lion podcast is fantastic and makes for better viewing than our matches right now. First episode features a Reno Lion legend. There you go. It's a good plug for your pod, bro. There
Thank
you
you,
go. Thank you,
Boris.
Boris.
Appreciate it, man. New episode tomorrow. Check it out.
DAA 3232. When we get the Rocket Rivas curse lifted, victory. Ball in the net. There you go. Papi has peaked with us. He doesn't have the killer instinct to take us to an MLS Cup. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
That's the thing right now is we need to see growth from Oscar. And I like
yes.
that we talked about that, Luis, and I
No,
wanted to
no,
see
yes.
more. And the beginning of the year, I felt like he had been more attacking, and maybe you're right. Maybe we are more attacking,
We are. We
but
just can't. We just have
I,
these blunders.
I still also see a lot of sideways passing, and I still see a lot of guys afraid to take somebody on. And I think guys like Marco and Alex and like even Angulo at times, like I don't want them to be afraid to take somebody on 1v1. And so that's my concern is there a world where Oscar's saying to these guys, I need you to continually pass to retain possession, and I don't want you to take too many risks? Because that for me is what I don't want. I want to see free flowing. I want to see Marco be able to do whatever he wants. Do you think that there's a chance of that happening?
I I think I believe this. He's still a really good coach for MLS. I just think that right now the results are not there, and we are still one of the least spending clubs in the East, and we have gotten pretty far. Now, if we get on key positions more Marco Pasalic with that type of immediate impact, and or coming of a sub or subs that are maybe MLS proven, that are okay taking the bench but they know whether what they're going to give you. I guarantee you, probably the same tactics may work. Now, what I criticize in this particular game and in the past two as well is him trying to close out the game with characters, and I'm saying it in a nice way, that are very inconsistent. Ramiro scores a couple of goals back to back, and then he completely shuts off and then forgets about it. Nico Rodriguez, he needs to be an OCB, with all due respect. And again, Dagger, again, may have. And another thing is this obsession with trying to make Muriel a playmaker when. And again, this is the last three games, John, and you called it too. The last three games, he's been trying to. I don't know why it is. I understand he's probably the has the biggest salary in the team, but this obsession, if Muriel ain't working and he needs to be benched, you got to make that decision. I mean, the team doesn't need to be hindered. You know, just like he made the decision of resting Angulo and put him in off the bench, and then he improved in a way in this last game, even though we lost, he improved. Maybe it's telling you something. You know, maybe he needs to come off the second half rather than having Ramiro play in his position, or Ojeda at the 10, Ramiro at the 9. You know, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so
I was very happy to see Ojeda back in the 10 and Muriel back in the 9. Like, well, I'd rather Enrique had got the start, honestly, than
100%.
Muriel.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Angulo coming on. I think we were justified when we were calling him out for not performing well. Dropping him, he's come back. He looks like he's learned. Well, not learned. He looks like he's woken up, right?
Yeah.
And he had some better moments. He was running back. He made some good defensive tackles. I think he had a good game. I'm not gonna criticize him on this one. So what is frustrating to me, Luis, is this: yes, we fixed all that, but we still having issues putting the ball in the back of the net. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the Montreal game, I thought that was a lot of the problem, was we got the guys in the wrong position. In the game before that in Charlotte, and then he put them in the right places, and we still had the same problems of not being able to finish our chances. So to me, that says a lot about just where we are at the moment as a team. We're just really struggling to get that final shot or that final ball that we need, you know, in these moments. And a lot of it just comes down to quality. And, you know, Alex had a great game.
Yeah,
right?
tremendous game.
And you
I
know,
felt terrible about it.
he gets up there and then, you know, he has a shot with his left foot. He goes way over the bar. That's the kind of thing that, like, okay, Alex is still learning that part of his game, right? So it's like, if that happens, it's like, okay, like, I'm not going to expect you to be the one to score that kind of chance every time. But I think it was also symbolic of the fact that at the moment we just, you know, not able to take our chances, and whether that's anybody on the team at the moment, really. Like, we had these moments, and I think the Jansen goal, as good as it was also kind of a bit lucky in the way that we scored it, and the way that New York really didn't defend it that well.
Now, let's read some more comments. Papi needs to switch from bus parking to no parking on the dance floor. Free Marco out. No me gusta. Well, I mean, this guy's watch soccer with his feet. Is this hopefully we sign a left wing under 22? Look, talking about that, and again, I believe we need more consistency, and I think that's one of the. I mean, aside of Oscar botching it, probably in the tactically, because that is tactical botching, 110%. Before I go into the whole player situation, look, I agree with John when he put there, and I think it was Mr. Phillips. I think he was also talking on there, on the YouTube comments I saw about why isn't our captain speaking of this? And I agree 110%. And this is also done in the women's game as well. I don't know why it is, but you gotta come out. You cannot, and I know this is why they do it. And again, I'm not trying to criticize, but I understand that they're trying to soften the blow. because you, the receptor, you, the viewer, you, the person that's consuming the content, is going to see a beautiful Alex Freeman smile, and your poppy outness and your anger is going to wither down a little bit. So, and they know that. Also, they put their jerseys for sale for the MLS, for the MLS All Star Marco. I just feel like the captains need to speak. I think I agree with you. Pedro, if Pedro is not available, Robin needs to step up. Last season, um, what's his name? The Uruguayan, our former captain,
Mauricio.
Mauricio Pereira. He did a bunch of interviews. When Orlando was losing and losing, he was. We need to see that. I mean, I don't know if, again, I don't want to assume why the reason was, but I kind of have a feeling based on my experience that they're just trying to soften the blow and make sure, and it's hard for my colleagues that were there to truly ask a question, like truly, like, to a kid that started the conference saying, do you guys have any questions for me? Like, what are you gonna say? Like, like, we have to talk about the blunders that happen. We have to talk about the negative. It is part of life. Now, I don't know. Do you want to talk about that? Do you have something to say about them putting Alex on the post press conference, which I thought it was crazy?
Yeah, I just felt for the guy, man.
Yeah.
I just felt like this is not. I don't, I don't want to when we win a game, and if Alex has had a great performance or scored a goal or got an assist, like definitely. But I don't want. I don't think it's fair to put the 20-year-old kid in the back line up there when that's what happens and people are, frustrated as they are. I think we need to see some of the senior members,
Yeah.
probably the
110%.
captains, who are responsible and stand up and take some ownership. Like, as critical as I'm being of Oscar right now, he did take ownership of the situation. And I think that's a lot of it. I do blame the players as well. I think we have a tendency to collapse. I think that's a mental thing. So I don't think it's all on Oscar, but I think tactically, I think people
Yeah.
are very frustrated. Like you said, the
Horrible
main
game.
the, the main thing we're frustrated about is sitting on our laurels with one up or not being able to get the second goal.
Yeah.
Whether he's telling them when we get one, take your foot off the gas or not, I don't know because we're not privy to that. People are guessing that's what's happening. You can't always see it in the tactics, but the fact that we are unable to score a second goal at home, which has been the trend, right? Cincy, the last game, another game, crazy. So
Cincy beat Miami in a really high fashion, and I didn't see one troll or haha. Those dudes are already concentrating in the next match, and their fans as well. So, it's just that these, and again, Cincy has waited a long time too for their team to be competitive. And what took Cincy to become that? Opening up the wallet a little bit more and getting players with the youth that they have, surround them with players that made an immediate impact. And they've done that successfully. And you see the results right now. That's the model to emulate. And I feel like for Orlando to still have had the success, and I'm talking about on a global sense, when it comes to standings, being fourth in the East last year, um, with the squad that we had last year, and now going through this great run in the beginning of the season, now kind of slipping down a little bit, slipping away 3 or 4 games away. Um, this is our roster here, and I think if, like John was saying, if the club wants to make an impact, they gotta use that gam right now, and they need to start looking right now for their guy to sign, and you know, it has to be a immediate player, like immediate impact caliber signing.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's assuming it's a left winger. I still think it's going to be a left back, personally. That's just, I think, a bigger issue that
Maybe
we
a win
have.
back. Somebody could play as a win
Yeah,
back.
fine. I think that's good. I think when you get into the fact that we're going to have to play as many games as we are and rotation wise, I think we have other left wing options, whether we like them or not at the moment. I think we have enough attacking options, but we really lack anybody who's a really good left back apart from Brecalo when we put him there. And I would rather almost, I mean, look at the way Schlegel's playing at the moment. We don't even really have the option of dropping him. We can't,
Yeah.
like, I mean, you just really can't. So for me, left back has always been that issue. If it's a left winger, that's fine too. I mean, that's also going to be very helpful. One of those on the U22. It's going to happen. I'm sure Ricardo's working on it. Um, yeah. So, but for me, Luis, I think that's just one piece that we are kind of missing that I don't know is going to solve all of our problems, right? I think that we have other problems besides the fact that we could use a left wing or a left back, right? This team should be good enough to win games against Montreal,
Montreal.
New York City FC without that left wing or a left back. So this idea that they're going to come in and just wave a magic wand that's all good, it's not realistic either. So
No, now, when it comes to the roster, like one of the big, hindrance and a big botch, it's been Luis Muriel when it comes to production. So, and that is nothing bad for me to say. He's a great guy, and only that, a star, all you want. But the production has not been there. Currently, I think he sits with he's the third best offensive stat player in the team right now, but has a contract to 2026. Now, I feel if Orlando, let's say, if we're going through a slump of more defeats, we're gonna pass our record of losses of last year, and I think there you could truly assess and say, yeah, we're gonna make the playoffs, but we're really not gonna contend for nothing, you know, at that point. So you gotta make decisions. Muriel, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
I mean,
it's a big chunk of the contract, and then you have players that are coming to their last. Even though we have option years, they're coming to their last stint. Ivan Angulo, I have a feeling, you know, Cesar, rumors last year that he wanted to go.
yeah,
I believe Edra is going to come back. Maybe even David Brecalo is going to come back. We don't know if Wilder's coming back. I mean,
yeah.
right now he looks like he will come back, but we don't know.
I,
But I mean, these are positions that are very important, like John was saying, that we need to right now, being July of 2024 or 2025, be looking for next year. Because the way to find good players that have that immediate impact that we're looking for, you got to start looking at them right now. You can't wait till the season's over to start looking, because then
yeah,
you're going to get another Rafa Santos.
I think this is a win now team. They brought in Atuesta to fix the Wilder Cartagena problem as a win now thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a win now team. I believe that the front office believes that all the pieces are there. Maybe they'll add a left back, like a left
Yeah.
winger we talked about. But I think that Oscar has all the pieces that he needs, and that the front office believes that they built a good enough team for Oscar to have all the pieces that he needs to win this year. So I think there's a win now team. There's a lot of players on this roster, like Cesar, for example, that hasn't even signed a new like is literally, could be signed this summer on a free and leave in the winter kind of guy that doesn't want to, apparently has rejected, you know, contract
Who?
offers and Cesar wants a lot of money,
Oh,
right?
Cesar Rojo.
Has
Yeah.
rejected contract offers from
Well,
us.
he doesn't
He's
deserve it right
expecting.
now.
That's the kind of thing I'm saying, right? Like these guys They're a lot of them are playing for their place in the squad next year. Like, could this be Pedro's year, like you said? Could this be Jansen's last year? Right? There's a lot of that going on, and I think also Oscar as well. And I
I
think that
agree. I agree
I think the front
100% with you.
office, they've been a unit, right? It was been Luis
Yeah, and
and Ricardo and Oscar, and
Ricardo.
they've been a unit, and they built
Yeah,
this team as a unit. And a lot of these
mhm,
guys that were here were their
yeah,
first signings, or the guys that've been here that whole time, and they've never had to do a big let's flip the script and change it all, right? Whether that's the
100%,
manager or whether that's like an
100%.
aggressive cleansing of the squad and bringing in new players. But they're realistic guys. They know that that's part of the gig. So I think, you know, that's very much what's going to happen this year if we don't win.
I 110% agree
Even
with
if we
you.
do win, it might happen this year.
Yeah,
Like, they could be like, go out on top, right? Whatever. So
exactly,
it's
exactly.
it's do
Now,
or die. It's now or never for this version of Orlando City with this squad and this manager, in my
look,
opinion.
I 110% agree with you. I even and to me, because I've covered other leagues, I can surely say players also play for that extra bonus of money. If these players want to stay in the team one more year, if these players want to get paid more, obviously, just like any job, John, there's a performance, you know, performance check every year, and you evaluate as a GM or as a head of the company to see if you want to keep the person at the same salary and make an offer, or offer a bonus plan or offer a better salary at that point. Right now, what it seems, and what Tom Boger also said, Alex Freeman right now is going to be probably the guy getting more money next year, and truly deserves it 110%. So I think the club is being smarter than that. Can that leave a bad taste in some players' mouths? I don't know. Maybe. Why him and not me? You know. But it's not that. It's just the point of, you want them to recognize you. You have to earn your frijoles, my friend. You gotta earn your burrito. You gotta earn that Chipotle bowl, bro. You gotta go and that's what I'm saying. Is Cesar wants a better contract because he just got a little girl, and you gotta perform, right? It's your chance. Now, I agree with you 110%. There could be a lot of changes next year. Now, changes with changes do not guarantee, again, and I'm telling this with people, do not guarantee championships either from the get-go. For Orlando City to have this particular team, how many seasons, John? How many seasons had to pass for them to get, kind of close to the Holy Grail a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, and these are guys that have been there a long time, right? You've led me on to something that I want to talk about as we
Yeah,
kind of.
let's do it.
I feel like we've had an hour on that depressing game. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say.
yeah,
We
same
all we
here.
all saw what happened.
I agree.
We've talked about our issues. We've talked about the squad. Let's talk about a little bit of the league-wide news, and one that I think is very controversial and very interesting. Rodrigo DePaul. Now, essentially, what it's not a done deal yet, but from what Bogart has been reporting, is that they are going to be able to loan him until the end of the season, and during that time of it being a loan, he will be a TAM player, which means he'll be making, you know, less than the league maximum, which is crazy if you consider how much money DePaul currently on in his
Yeah.
current contract with Atletico. So a lot of people saying this is very shady, and it's not really, how else is he being paid? Because it's like Atletico is still paying a huge amount of his contract for the next 6 months, right? It's the messy thing. We know that, right? He has this ability to bring in players. I think though it also says that, right, if you can really push the boundaries, right, that's what Miami do, right? They push the boundaries. They like to try and get away with stuff. Sometimes they do get away with it, you know. can we do something like that? I'm not saying that we have the ability to bring in the level of this, but can we go push the boundaries? Can we find a guy who's a lone player to bring in? I don't think of the Paul's level, definitely not. But I think it shows that, right, if you can get creative. So if we really need to do something, I feel like maybe this front office can be creative. But from the Inter Miami DePaul perspective, this is something that I really underestimated Luis when he signed. It was going to be a lot of, oh, how is Messi going to improve the league? How is Messi going to be in MLS? Yes, he's incredible on the field, but the real, cheat code that he provides is the fact that he can just sign his friends into MLS on deals that no one else is getting. Like, and there's been people online today that try to tell me that we would be able to pull off something like this. No other team in MLS is getting a. DePaul would laugh at any other MLS club. The only reason he is coming here is to play with Lionel Messi. Like, that is it. So I think sometimes there needs to be, a little bit of realism around what is what is achievable. And Messi, when he is there at that club, they can bring in anybody purely because it's Messi and someone wants to go. No one else can do that, right? So the real benefit of signing Messi is the fact that you can sign all his friends for nothing, essentially. Like, and that hasn't truly been a game changer. Like, yes, Alba and Busquets are good, like they're very, very good, and Suarez has been good, but DePaul, this guy will come and destroy in this league. He will. He will change this league, I think.
Look, I be honest with you. Yeah, he's a great player, but he's not. To me, I feel a little different about DePaul. I think he's very inconsistent as well. And there is this, and again, the whole Messi thing comes with pros and cons. Yes, commercially is great for the league. I'm sure that's why Don Garber wants to put, hey, David, don't worry. I got like 5 lawyers. Bro, we're going to make this shit happen, bro. Don't worry. I got you. I guarantee you that's what's happening. 100%. But what I really don't like is that they're undermining by doing this type of movements instead of having players in top level and them loosening the restrictions to truly bring equity for all owners in the MLS and the league and make it a little bit more transparent and real for everybody. The Charlottes, the Orlando Cities, the Sounders, to maybe get a Grealish or even a Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever the hell you want to bring at that point. Like, this is done in a way that, again, who played the Club World Cup? You know how much money they got, that money from the Club World Cup. The money to
Yeah,
get to pay the ball,
exactly.
they got it from qualifying to the next stage in the Club World because they're paying in
Which didn't qualify
astrono-
for anything. They got blessed
astronomical.
by Infantino.
It's all a rig at
I
this
mean,
point.
if the FIFA headquarters are in Miami, Argentina just built a new training
Headquarters
facility
in Miami.
in Miami.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean, it's anybody can see what's happening here. It's
okay.
all in the interest of what FIFA want, what Miami wants, what DePaul wants, what Mass wants. Like, I get it. I think for me, Luis, what frustrates me is they essentially are going to be able to get a guy in, and whether it's within the rules or not, they're going to pay him regardless. So
Yeah.
it's, what you're saying is we have a salary cap, right? And then I'm going to bring in someone like DePaul, and I'm going to put on paper that he's only making this much in that salary cap. But in reality, he's being paid by some other means, right? Whether that's in the MLS roster rules or not, he is being paid by some other means, right? So there's an amount on his contract that he's going to be paid for by Atletico. Atletico are probably going to take that money from the signing fee. They're going to say, okay, we need an extra 3 million because you're only paying a little bit of his wages for the next 6 months, right? Which he's on. like he's probably got another 3 million euros left on his wages for the rest of this 6 months. So it's something like 100,000 euros a week. Think about that compared to MLS numbers. So they're saying, all right, we've got a lot of his money left on his contract that you're not paying for right now. So Miami said, sure, we'll just pay you more transfer fee and you can pay it out of that. So yes, when you look at it on paper and in the roster, it's like, oh yeah, he's being paid the right amount of money. But actually,
Yeah,
he's being paid a lot more than that. It's just not, and it's the same with Messi, right? Like Messi's getting paid way more
way
because he got
more.
an Apple deal and an and then a Adidas deal. There's nowhere. That's not on paper. It doesn't
It's
say
one
here
of its it's
when
one
they
of its
release
kind. It's
when they
tremendous.
release the numbers. It doesn't say, by the way, here's another, this amount from Apple that goes on Inter Miami's books, and that takes away from their TAM amount. That doesn't happen. So I think this idea of like, oh, it's all fair because they've managed to make the numbers work is not really realistic, is it? Like he's getting
It's
paid.
just it's
I'm sure
just
Busquets and Alba and the other guys are getting paid more somehow in another way as well.
it's just looking for loopholes within the law.
Yeah, right. You
And right,
bend the
it's
rules.
and again, yeah, that is within the frame of the law.
And people
Yeah,
will say you should just do that
but
too. We should all just
right,
bend the rules.
and we and just for the f of it, we should we should, but we are not that type of club, though. You see what I'm saying? We should, and I think it'd be very ambitious to maybe go look at for a Jack Grealish. It's like, hey Jack, you want to come down? Come in your prime. You'll be our you'll be our winger, John, our star winger. You know what I mean? Like we should, and again, there's going to be another club that's going to end up doing it, and then the league is going to put some pebbles on the road for that club not to do it, and then it's going to become apparent that they've been just giving this to Inter, and again,
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? Right? We've been burned once, so this is all like flags are being raised, but we don't know if any of this is. It might come out 2 years from now when they win a trophy, and then what are they going to do? Right?
yeah,
So,
and then they're gonna be like, "Oh no, the MLS,
oh, it was a mistake. We missed it.
Messi's attracting players on their prime
Yeah,
here
they had
in
5 DPs
Miami."
last time they did this. I mean, it stinks of the same thing again. Like you can't prove it until you prove it, right?
Right, right. So
But like,
yes,
I don't want to be bitter and all of that, and I just think that we were sold this idea that Messi coming was going to make the league better, but in reality, all it's done is made Inter Miami better. There's
a
been
hundred, a hundred percent,
no
a hundred
benefit for
percent.
anybody else.
And not only that, it's just leaving. It's just leaving the league. I mean, I would like for more people to see the way I see the league, which is it's a league that's developing young stars.
Yeah, this set us
It's
back a long
it's
way.
it's and this type of moves, it's just making us look like this is like Saudi Arabia. Like we just they're here for a freaking payday to play in a club that has no history at all whatsoever, and that all Americans are stupid, literally. And I'm not trying to say it in a mean way, but for Argentinians have these thing that they feel like they're the owners, like they are soccer, just like Brazilians too, some of them. And again, this sense of superiority, these type of moves don't reflect the reality of the league. And really, I really hope he gets a rude awakening. I hope that when Orlando plays DePaul, Cesar Araujo has his best game in the season. I honestly do. And a lot of these players come in, and even happened with Messi, John. They got a rude awakening about the MLS. Long flights, crazy pitches. Hello to NYCFC. You know, and again, it takes time for them to adapt. It's not as easy. But Messi tells all his friends to sign them. Hey, that's a piece of cake, man. You're gonna make so much money here. Like, but that's not the whole point. The point is for us to grow the sport in the country, and these type of moves, to me, kind of undermine that.
I mean, so like a quick, FB ref search. Oh, I lost it there. it'll show you, right, like similar players to Rodrigo de Paul,
Mm-hmm.
just based on the stats that they
Okay.
accumulate. So let's just say, for example, and I've had conversations with people online that said that we could be able to go out and do this, right? So pick a
Okay.
player from this list and tell me if we would be able to go out and get them on a loan deal for 6 months and pay almost none of their wages. It's never going to happen.
Give me Joshua Kimmich, my
Sure, I'd
boy,
love Kimmich to come from
my boy,
Bayern
my
for
boy.
peanuts on the dollar. That sounds great. Is he up for that? I don't
He
think
love he
so.
loves Mickey Mouse, right?
Sure, but
Right.
I think that's the thing, right? You got to remember, it's just Messi is a cheat code, and
Exactly.
it's his power to bring his friends. That is his ultimate, as well as his incredible abilities on the pitch. Too. So that's that. Let's talk about the weekend, Luis.
Yeah. So again, Orlando. It seems like every time I talk about this, every game is a freaking must win.
Yeah, it's
But
looming.
but at the moment, the upcoming MLS match for Orlando City is against the New England Revolution, Saturday, July 19th at 7:30 p.m. at Gillette Stadium, home of the Patriots in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Um, Look, the Revolution, inconsistent form, 11th in the Eastern Conference. They recently snapped a 9-game unbeaten run with a 5-3 loss to the New York Red Bulls.
Yeah,
Yes,
crazy game.
yeah, it was a crazy game. They led the game 2-0 at halftime and then collapsed defensively, just like we did against Montreal in the second half. Their home form has been shaky. 2 wins, 4 losses, and no, 2 wins. Yeah, 4 losses and 2 draws. They've struggled to maintain leads, just like Orlando has. Um, and they're coming from a heavy schedule, and you guys already know the Orlando side. Orlando is trying to regain and redeem themselves after this crappy load of games that they've had, and trying to redeem themselves with a fandom that wants them all fired. Again, I cannot stress enough. This is a game that we need to close it down. And John, it just seems that we're talking the same thing. Both teams are in struggling form right now, John. I think both teams are in struggling form.
Yeah, I mean the Revs haven't won in at least the last five. It's looking very similar in the stats. I mean, but is it? Are they any different from New York City? No. Are they really any different from Charlotte? Not really. And we couldn't, beat those teams.
Yeah,
So I think that's the thing right now is, for me, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We have real issues that
yeah,
we need to solve, right? So one game at a time, but away on the AstroTurf, which is never our friend,
yeah,
doesn't fill me with hope. I gotta say, and the fact that New England came back like that, sorry, the fact that they scored three early and they did look pretty good early on against New York, and then they collapsed. So they're able to score goals. The fact that they've conceded five
yeah. Conceded
is
fives.
is hopeful. But they also earlier in the year were a very good defensive team. So I don't think that they're necessarily just a bad defensive team. I think they're just in a bad form themselves as well. And they could turn it around, right? Like I think both of these teams need a reaction, need a win. So it's about who has a better performance than they have been recently. It's about who turns up on the day, who does something different, who's actually able to finish their chances, and also who's able to keep a clean sheet. I mean, I think New England will be very concerned about that, having just conceded five.
Yeah, look, right now, like you said, 23 goals in 22 matches. But the factor here that I see for New England is Carlos Hill is the spark of that attack, and then Campana scoring goals. He just scored a brace, so the XG it's going up. It's already up. So, um, understand this. This is a team that we need to really watch out for yellow and red cards. It has happened before, Hill is a really good crafty midfielder that looks for contact. The opportunities for free kicks, for possibly them trying to look for a penalty if they feel that Orlando's playing a really good defensive game. That's going to happen, and we cannot lose it. You cannot lose our composure. And I'm talking to about Raf,
Rodri.
Dagerdan and Schlegel and Jensen and even Pedro. You know, because Campana likes to, because he's as tall as some goalkeepers. He likes to on the corners kind of do a little shoving match. He's done it with Ecuador when he played the national team there. So even though Orlando has the strongest attack, the recent form to me it says that it's a very even Stevens game. You
Yeah.
know,
You remember the 3-3 earlier in the season? Ojeda's hat trick, the first hat trick in a very long time for Orlando City. And then yet we couldn't see it out.
yeah.
That 85th minute.
Look, Jill penalty.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be exciting. Hopefully, it definitely shows we can score against this team.
This is a better team than Montreal. This is a better team than NYCFC, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because of the current form right now.
I think also that they were a team that I kind of expected to make a push. They're on the edge of being in the playoffs situation, so definitely better than Montreal, but similar to New York, yeah. And again, when we looked at this run of games, Louise, I think that's what's frustrating is we had you know, a lot of players there that I was hopeful. Sorry, a lot of players, a lot of teams there that I was hopeful we could get results against, good results against. So again, it's not like we're playing Cincy, we're not playing
Oh,
Miami, we're not playing Nashville, we're playing the Revs. Yes, it's away, but we're just as good away as we are at home. Honestly, our home form has been worse than our away form recently.
yeah, our home form has been terrible. Our away form has actually been a little better than expected. Lost against Cincinnati, draw against Montreal, and loss against New York, you know. And then we're coming into closing out the first half of the season. Technically, I mean, this game against New England, which is feasible for a win, and then we're playing a team that it's playing tremendous football, which is Columbus. And I think that's going to be the big test as well. Now, if Orlando comes out 6 out of 6, I think Orlando will be between the fourth and fifth place. You know, if Orlando loses his next 2 games, Orlando's going to dip. It's going to dip pretty bad because I think the other teams are probably going to win. So, those are things that we need to assess, and that's why, like you guys were saying, we need to look at our options into making that signing. So we're able to move on to the League's Cup, which I'm not looking forward to that. But whatever. We're gonna read some comments and then we'll go into the predictions. All-Star game is Wednesday, and we have to play Columbus next Friday. I wonder how Marco and Alex will be managed.
Yeah, we haven't said that on this pod, but congratulations to Marco on being called
Yeah.
up to the All Star. Well deserved.
Yeah, they both well deserve it, and hopefully they don't. Hopefully they play limited minutes because we want them back into
The
Orlando.
right side of our team
Yeah,
is All Star. There you go.
he's all star. That's right. Step up your game, get paid. Says DAA 3232. I hope your babe will be back soon. We need him. There you go. Muriel needs to dye his hair blonde again. LOL. This is our number 9 is the problem. There you go. Do you think the players like bus parking? We seem happy moving forward in matches. No soccer player likes to park the bus, but it's a strategy that is used many times to close out games like that. It has happened. Now, against rivals like Montreal, like NYCFC, I don't think Orlando should have done that. I think Orlando has the capability with this squad to finish it off. you know so they've done it before, so that's the whole point. That's the whole frustration part that the whole fandom is experiencing right now. It's like they expected more consistency out of this team, and they're not getting that, especially at home, and which hurts the most because, you get your STMs being more vocal, and it's just the whole snowball effect, which no one wants to have. I have a feeling we are losing Pedro. I disagree. I think they're waiting till the end of the season to do that, or a little bit before that to announce it. I'm sure they'll cook something within, obviously, the means of what the club wants to pay. You know, again, if it's his production, and that's what's going to get you paid. And I have full faith that the front office is going to do the best. And if Pedro decides to leave for any reason, then that's up to him. In the end, it's really his decision. It's not ours. So we're gonna go through our predictions here. Um, MLS. We're gonna be playing against New England Revolution at Gillette Stadium. All right. What you got, John?
Oh, I'm trying to be positive, but it's so hard. I'm gonna go with 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Okay.
Yeah, I still think we got issues. I'm waiting to see this team be clinical again, Luis. I think when we see that, and we're also able to get a clean sheet again, because we haven't had a clean sheet in how long? Since the Colorado game, 1-0 away.
Since
So yeah, we're gonna concede. We might score one or two based on the fact that the Revs, clearly have defensive issues. So I'm gonna go 2-0. I mean, sorry, 2-2.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Orlando. 2-1 Orlando.
Who you
Orlando
think?
win.
Who's getting these goals?
I'm gonna go for I think Atuesta may score his first one, and then maybe we see Ramiro Enrique again on the score sheet, hopefully. So I will like that at least. So 2-1 Orlando, and again, not perfect because we conceded probably one, and I know they're probably gonna get one because Campana is the 9 I think we need. I'm just throwing it out there. I think he's a tremendous 9. Uh, and Jill is a tremendous player as well. So,
Wednesday is the All-Star game, so
are you watching
really
that?
no rest for Alex, or I might tune in to if
Yeah,
Alex or
I'll tune
Marco,
in.
because
Yeah, I'll
they're
tune in.
there, right?
Yeah,
But I
hopefully they
don't.
get
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm not an
Hopefully they
All-Star
get
guy.
limited minutes, in my opinion.
And then I think they should have a long range shooting contest and put Marco on that. That's what I want to see. I want to
With the
see
left footed.
Marco, like left footed, shots with no goalkeeper. How far out can you hit the goal from, and see if Marco can hit it from the other side of the street?
He should
That's what I
come
want to
dressed.
see.
I would love for that to happen. Him dressed as Duke Nukem.
Yes, yeah.
With
He kicks the ball from the top of the stands
my
into the
weapon.
goal. That's what I want to
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so New England this week. Obviously, Wednesday next week, All Star. So that's Alex and Marco that are going to be traveling midweek for that, just like they'd be playing another game. Really, I mean, they're not going to play a full
exactly.
game, I'm sure, but the travel is accounted there. They're going to have to go to Austin, and then they're going to go meet up with the team on Friday. So it's
For
Wednesday to
Columbus.
Friday in Columbus. They'll go directly from Austin to Columbus. And then the following week after that, guess what time of year it is? The League's Cup is
Leagues Cup.
here. With a Wednesday 30th of July, we have the first League's Cup game, and then a Saturday game, and then a Wednesday game, there's a Saturday game. So if we cast our minds back, Louise, to the last time that we went Wednesday, Saturday for the majority, of a month, or at least 3 weeks in a row, it didn't end so well at the end of it. It all kind of fell apart. I think tired legs. We saw we saw the fact that our squad isn't as deep as we would like at times. So I think it's only going to get more difficult, Luis. Right? I mean, Columbus and
We
then Leagues Cup, New England. This is our last chance at some easier points in some ways.
This is where Oscar and his staff need to properly loan manage the team.
And that was last time we didn't rotate at all.
We and that's
and
the
that
thing.
killed us.
I understand the money's great for the Leagues Cup. I understand. I'm not gonna shit on the Leagues Cup with all due respect, but
I mean, it is what it is. I
I
like the
don't.
fact that
I
we're
don't
playing
like the
three
Leagues
Mexican
Cup. I
teams.
don't like
That's
the
nice.
yeah. I don't like the Leagues Cup. But again, I understand that it's another trophy. But I
Champions League,
feel
it's worth taking seriously.
I feel that, for example, Pumas, they just signed Vite from Vancouver. Tremendous player.
Great signing.
They have Carrasquilla, which is their 10 there. Used to play in Houston Dynamo. So it's a really good team. Very MLS oriented. It's like a mini MLS team, in my opinion, over there in Mexico. I guarantee you, knowing Oscar is going to try to play with his whole full squad there. I have a feeling this tournament, with all due respect, especially the games at home, maybe the games away, they need to be played by the A team or a mix of A and B. But we need to see the bench, man. I mean, we need to see the Justin Ellis's, the Fabian Loyolas, the Caravallos. We need to see the Caravallos.
And I think for me, Luis, if we're struggling in the league, right,
Yeah.
and then we play our full first team for
Yeah.
those 3 games in a row, and then maybe we don't even go through from that,
We're
and then
gonna be
we've got
gassed.
Inter Miami
Yeah, we're gonna be
right
gassed.
after those 3 games.
And Sporting.
The same week. There's no break there.
Yep.
This is Wednesday, Saturday. If we spend all of our effort on that and we come out of it and then, look even worse in MLS because we've got injuries or whatever, we're just tired, we're exhausted. It's gonna, you know what I mean? So we have to be careful about where Oscar, and I totally agree with you, how we rotate the squad, where we put our key guys over the next month is going to be, I think, make or break for a lot of this season.
This is important for the front office to, and everybody to keep in mind in the back of their heads to take notes, right? Low management. Like, this is important. This is something that the coaching staff needs to do. And yeah, you got to prioritize tournaments, especially with a short team like we have. Like, again, where's Joran Gervais? Thigh, neck, head.
I'm really hoping Thigh is cleaning up because
right? So
I think Cesar recently, like we said,
right.
I would love to put Gervais in there for a game.
I understand it's another tournament. It is a winner's mentality. Yes, everybody wants to win the tournament, but be honest with you, I guarantee you, if you ask the fandom right now, hey, would you like to maybe play with a mixed team in this Leagues Cup and then beat Miami? Or would you like to play with your A squad all 3 games, probably tie or lose, and then get 6-0 at home against Miami with DePaul and Messi and Suarez?
Yeah. Realistically, right now, we are not a team that's going to beat top Mexican sides, are we?
Yeah.
So why spend a lot of energy on a tournament that we realistically that right now are not going to be winning?
Our tournament was the leagues, the U.S. Open Cup, and then we botched it.
Yeah, and I think everybody cares way more about doing something like 100%. MLS Cup than they would about having even if we went on like a decent run in Leagues Cup, it would be like the Open Cup again, like whatever.
Look, I'm not trying to say that I'm a loser, baby, or anything like that, or I have a loser mentality. All I'm trying to say is priorities, man.
Yeah, people honestly, I want to win every game, but we don't have the squad to play every game like that.
Yeah.
If we were Man City, I'd be like, sure, play
Chelsea.
all these guys. Yeah, but realistically, we can't do that.
Yeah, I really don't. And with all due respect, I have a good friend of mine that's Atlas, which we're gonna play, and high respect of Necaxa and Pumas, but I don't care about League MX with all due respect. I really don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me added value. If anything, yes, we're gonna play the tournament, and I think the kids should use those 3 games to be ready for what's next. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it should be, priorities, because we don't want to give the fans after this botch. How many games we lost against NYCFC at home in a really lackluster fashion?
Yeah.
We the Montreal tie unacceptable. So 3 unacceptable results,
Yeah.
and
Three
then
games
and
that felt like losses.
right, and then you're gonna go and give the fan, you're gonna give the Flamingos a win at home 6-0 in Interco Stadium in front of all your fans. I don't think that's the way we should go about
The
that.
other thing is if we do go through, the games then just continue on a Wednesday. So
Yeah,
you're just killing yourself
yeah,
further.
yeah.
That like unless you really gonna win it, hey, I might say, I would love to be completely wrong about this. I would love for us to be amazing in the Leagues Cup and win the whole thing. I'm just trying to be
I don't care
realistic.
really. I
I'm
really
just
don't
trying to be
care about that
realistic
tournament.
about us right now. And I also think you're right, Luis. And you make a great point that at the beginning of the season, Oscar said, I'm going to add in the kids.
Yeah,
And I laughed. I was like, that's ridiculous. They've never done that. Now they did it. They added in Alex and a couple other guys, but they then kind of shied away from that. And I want to see more of that. And the Leagues Cup is an opportunity. People are crying out for more, Caraballo, for more,
Justin Ellis,
let's get Justin Ellis out here.
100%.
Let's give Gusky some games in the Leagues Cup,
Yeah,
right?
hundred
Let's give
percent.
Thomas Williams a game. Let's give Tahiri Brown a
Tahir Reed
game in the,
Brown.
this is
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. And I personally wouldn't mind at all if they did that in the Leagues Cup. I don't think they will do it because they always say we want to win. Every tournament is an opportunity to win. But like we talked about, I think in some ways the Leagues Cup is just going to be a drain on our ability to compete in MLS this year.
It's gonna drain our batteries, and then after that, the schedule that we have, it is very tough. I mean, we're gonna be playing Inter Miami at home. We're gonna be playing Sporting Kansas City, which we cannot take lightly. We're gonna play it at home. Then we play one of the contenders, which is Nashville, away, and then we're going to be playing Vancouver, which they just signed. And I do want to say they're about to sign Kenji Cabrera, which is the best Peruvian player right now in the Peruvian market. 22-year-old midfielder. The kid's a beast. When I said is a beast, he's a beast. So Vancouver's making moves. We're going to play Nashville. So it's going to get tougher. Now, what do we want moving forward? Do we want to scare away everybody and just have the Leagues Cup? I mean, are we really going to be contending with that tournament? That tournament is really helping more the Mexican side, in my opinion. You know, I really feel, with all due respect, we need to put a mixed team for those and get those kids ready for what's coming next. You imagine Justin Ellis scoring on Inter Miami. You imagine Nico Rodriguez having minutes and then maybe having a great game against Sporting Kansas City. I mean, those are the great surprises that consistency in games that you can really like afford to play them on, like Leagues Cup, could give you a little bit more depth, because we're going to need it, because the second half of the league, until September 13, I'll say that it starts getting a little easier with DC United. But then
Yeah.
after that, we pick up again.
Yeah.
Look, we end the league in September with
Yeah.
Nashville, Cincinnati, and Columbus. So,
Yeah.
guys,
It's the easy period is the period that we are having right now, where we're not performing well.
exactly,
This is the time when we needed to pick up points, and we
exactly,
have not
100%.
done, and it's only going to get more difficult. Luis, you want to read some comments, and then we'll get out of here.
No problem. Let's read some comments real quick. It says, F, All-Star game is Wednesday, and we have to play in Columbus next Friday. There you go. We read that comment already. Revs have won one game in the last 12, and it was against Montreal. I cannot afford to lose them. 110% agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I respect the Revs, but I just think that We
Maybe a
already
quarter. Yeah.
we already taken literally three. I mean, it's two L's, but we're literally three L's. It feels like an L.
Yeah.
The one in
I mean, but
Montreal.
it's like we were saying though. This is
Yeah,
no different from the last games, and look how that
yeah.
the
So
opponent is the same. So it's what we do that counts.
now it's now we have coming with playing this tournament, and we're gonna drain our batteries. Come on, no, we can't afford that anymore. F. Justin Ellis won U19 MVP in the next pro, apparently. Why does he not have a deal yet? I'm 110% sure, knowing this front office, that he's probably going to have a deal. He's
He's
probably
on
going
a
to have,
he's like called up for first
yeah,
team. You know, he's been on temporary
yeah,
first team contracts.
yeah.
It's they just move him back and forth all the time because the way MLS works. But he's signed with the club in our like no one can poach Justin Ellis. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's a tremendous talent, and
He has
again,
got to be a protected
you
player at the
you
club.
you
I'd be
imagine
shocked
if
if he isn't.
you imagine if he goes off against these Mexican teams, and then
He's
maybe
having an
he
incredible year.
maybe he gets noticed. Again, it's good. Do we hear an Orlando signing when the window opens up next week? I do agree we're going to hear something. I'm from good sources. I could say there's going to be some movements.
Yeah, something will happen, but
Yeah.
we won't hear about it until the window. So we
Now
just got to
again,
wait.
understand this. With every signing, no signing is perfect, but I think this front office now understands immediate impact, and the latest signings, in a way, they've been very successful. Atuesta, Pasalic, some of the changes they've made in the team. So they're probably cooking something already. I know that Mr. Moreira, and his people are probably already cooking something. Love the UCF hat, John, says Vega. There you go. Yeah, it's a really nice hat, John. And a
I know
great
nothing about any UCF sports, so I'm pro Orlando. So
and a great podcast too. I was hearing the interview with Miss K. That was really amazing, man. I'm proud of you,
yes,
bro.
so the next episode is coming out tomorrow morning. So I won't tell you who it is. I'm going to leave that a surprise. But
Check the
you
socials.
check, yeah, in the
Check the
morning.
socials.
Check the
Yeah,
socials.
it's
We'll
it's
drop that one.
it,
Quickly on transfer news, Luis, there was something that we didn't discuss,
go
and
ahead.
that is that Tom Bogert
But Freeman,
released some information on Alex Freeman from sources at the club saying that yeah, source. I don't know if it is sources of the club. It just says
probably.
sources, probably sources.
Probably.
We're assuming Orlando
Probably.
City focused on extending the contract of Alex Freeman rather than a transfer. Contract talks are ongoing. I think very good news. We've talked about it a lot. I won't hang on it here at the end, Luis, but I just wanted to mention that news did come out in case anybody missed it, that the club is actively trying to get him a new deal and does not want him to transfer this summer.
There's a troll account called Tom Booger.
I
I
love
do
Tom
want
Booger.
I
Gotta
do
follow Tom Booger. It's hilarious.
I do want to. I was looking. I was like, "Yo, Tom really said that." And it's just Tom Booger. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Come
he'll
on,
get you.
man."
He's the picture and everything.
Yeah, they use the picture and everything,
Like,
man. People are crazy.
he's very open about the fact that he's a what do you call it, like a copycat funny account.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, "Why does he say that stuff?" I was like, it's a troll account." But if there's someone in this squad right now that truly deserves a bigger pay, at some point it was Duncan Maguire. Remember, he deserves a bigger pay of all the goals he's scoring. I think at this point, the I think he's the face of Orlando City right now. I think it's Alex Freeman, and
Well
I mean,
deserved for
this
sure.
is not only well deserved, but I mean, this is protecting Orlando's assets. Also, it's just a way for the club to do the right thing, not only for them, but also for the player. And Freeman loves this club so much because he's literally grew here. When he leaves, he wants to leave something for Orlando City, right? So that will benefit the club. It's and it, because he's gonna have a really stellar career, because he's a really strong-minded young man, and I'm super proud of him. Super proud of him. Yeah. So great call for. I forgot about the Tom Boger tweet. Anyways, we wanted to let you know that we appreciate you. Obviously, John and I sometimes, not every time, we have some different views of things, but that's what makes us who we are. We're still good friends, and in the end, we all want that Orlando keeps winning and reach the promised land, which is win an MLS Cup. We don't, so hopefully the team bounces back, you know, and they're able to get that bounce back and regain some wins, and then we get to see this, some of the OCB guys shining in the Leagues Cup. I wanted to thank you all for your support. We are Loud and Proud Orlando. We're available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts in audio form. As well, we're on X at LP_podcast, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you again for everybody that's been watching and checking us out. Make sure that if you're listening, drop us a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe, and drop us a comment as well. We'll respond on the next episode. Anything else you want to add, John, before you go? You want to tell us about the next episode of Forever Lion coming up?
Yes, that will come out tomorrow. So check that out if you've not. Just search
Check it out,
on
guys.
social media on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Type Forever a Lion. You'll find it there. And lastly, I just want to say that the game is completely gone, Luis, because I Show Speed is going to be at the MLS All Star. So
Is he gonna play?
I don't even know
He's
at this
terrible.
point. For me, that's like the end. That's it.
You don't care about Show Speed.
Just give up. Like,
I think he's
that for me
hilarious.
that's the nail in the coffin.
I think he's hilarious. But you know why they do it, John? They do it. They're gonna allow him. He's
Hey,
gonna.
I'm
You know,
not with the kids. I don't care about this guy, right? But
oop,
for me, it just says like, what are we saying about the All Star if we just let anybody be there?
look, and they're gonna let him stream it. They're gonna let him stream
They're
it.
gonna let him do all his stuff. That
Yeah.
he's gonna take over the show and make it like a farce and a circus and all that stuff. Which for me is like it's already a circus. So if you put someone like that in it, all credibility is
What I would
completely gone.
recommend is, because this dude like is famous worldwide. What I would recommend, hey Pasalic, hey Freeman, if you're watching, yo, try to get on those videos.
Alex might be a big fan of
Yeah,
I Show.
yeah.
I'm not.
I
I'm
like
not
I
in
Show
that.
Speed. I think he's hilarious.
I'm not a vibe on that for me. Call me a soccer purist, but
No,
I'm out.
well, he went to Peru recently, and he went to, he's anti Messi, right?
Yeah, he's
So
Ronaldo's boy.
and Messi, he went to Miami one time to look for him, and
Well, some people say that's why he's not playing the All Star, right?
yeah,
Because Speed's gonna be there.
yeah. No, but Speed's terrible at soccer, bro.
Oh man, I
Yeah, but
just
he's yeah, he's
the game is the game, right? But
yeah.
yeah, sad to say, Luis. It's stuff like this. MLS is gonna MLS, right?
Yeah. And it's Colin OCSC. The burgerification of MLS will continue, says Colin OCSC. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the late comment. But again, stick around. We'll be back next week. Thank you for your support. Hopefully a W. And vamos Orlando. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Vamos Orlando.
Have a good one.